Hi, I'm Treasure. Thanks for joining me. I want to talk to you a little bit about drawing inspiration from other dance sources. You know, ever since I was little, I loved everything about dance. I loved doing it. I loved watching it. It was all just endlessly inspiring to me. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and they would watch Lawrence Welk every night. And at a certain age, probably about 10 years old, I just went, I don't want to see Lawrence Welk. It's so boring. And my grandmother would say, oh, but don't you want to see the dancers? And she was so smart to do that because she knew no matter how boring I thought it was, I would sit through all of that just to get to see the dance numbers. And then when I was a little older, about 12 or 13, I would get up every Saturday morning and watch American Bandstand and Soul Train. And a few years after that came Solid Gold and the Solid Gold dancers. And that was so fascinating to me because they would dance to the same top 10 music week after week after week, but they would always change it up and make it look a little bit different. And I knew even at that time that I would probably never dance in the styles I was seeing. I was never going to dance like the things I saw on Lawrence Welk or Soul Train or even Solid Gold. But it was so interesting and inspiring to me. It made me want to dance. Then as I got older, I studied other dance forms because at that time it was really important to be considered well-rounded. That was very desirable. And unfortunately, I think that that idea has fallen out of favor. When I look around both locally and online, what I see is the various dance communities turning inward. They're very insular. The dancers are not interested in studying or even watching other styles of dance. They'll dig very deeply into the dance form that they're interested in, but everything else kind of falls to the wayside. And I think that's really to our detriment. I think this idea that we're cutting ourselves off and looking inward, I think that causes a lot of problems, including a lot of infighting. That's definitely not something I want to be around. I don't want you to be around it either. And we're also missing out on things. When we go out and we watch other dance styles, we're being inspired. And there's lots of ways to be inspired. You can be inspired in a way that affects the style of your dance, but there's also the inspiration comes that just being surrounded by something that's beautiful or watching something that's fascinating, that's a different kind of inspiration, and it's also important. If we get out and we interact with dancers from other dance styles, then we have this wonderful back and forth where we're being inspired by them and they're being inspired by us. And there's this whole idea that we're going to lose out on collaboration, collaborating with dancers of other dance forms, or even artists of different art forms. So the next time that somebody invites you to a show and you think, oh, that is so boring, I do not want to go to that, give it a shot. You never know, you might find a new and deep well of inspiration. Thanks again for joining me.